Okay, hi you guys. Mwah, mwah, mwah. All right, so this next video we're gonna do is going to be on a highly sensitive, no, I'm sorry, a highly intuitive person. Everybody's name is very different for it. Some people call it empath, some people call it very highly spiritual in God. Everybody's name is different. Some people call it strong in energy. Whatever it is, it's all the same. We all getting there one way or another. But this video, we're going to touch on a highly intuitive person. Now, don't get me wrong, we all are very intuitive as human beings. God gave us that gift, okay? But a lot of the times, the reason why some of us has not tapped into um being getting into that energy, getting into the vibration of really becoming highly intuitive is because we still have a lot of debris on us. We still have a lot of internal things that we have to heal from in order to see clearly. And a lot of times we have to understand that when we have blockages, okay, because that's all it is. You got energetically, you got fields within you internally that if you're not healed properly, it's blockages, okay? So we have these certain blockages within us internally that because we have not healed yet from those things, or we still in the process of healing, it's certain things that still are a blockage, okay? And it's certain things where we have not fully been able to tap into the potential of who we are in God, or us being highly intuitive, we have not been able to fully and tap into who we are as a whole, okay? And so what happens is that energetically, when you, or vibrationally, when you have these blockages within you, right, what happens is that it stops. It's like it stops you. If you look at my hand can't go any further. So that's how it is. That's how it is within us internally, okay? When we're trying to get to this side, it's hard for us to get to this side and be intuitively and really have God's spirit in us strong to know what we need to do and how we need to do it, because we still have blockages right here that we healing from. We still have things that we have not yet addressed within us internally to start the process, so that we can step into raising our vibrations, raising our energy, really allowing God to really bring us to a place of being so spiritually in tune with his spirit, and being such a highly intuitive person. And that's the purpose of God healing us. So that we can remove these blockages and we can go forward in where God needs us to be. Or we can raise our vibration, raise our energy, come to higher levels in God spiritually, where we become who we need to be, where we become highly intuitive people. Okay? And that's what it means when we are talking about highly intuitive people. So on the average, we all are very intuitive. It's just some people are more highly intuitive than others, meaning some people can sense more than the average person, okay? And some people have, and if you look at it, when we think of somebody, and some people call them empaths, right, or whatever, but when you look at somebody that's highly intuitive, it's different levels to that. So it's not just one level, it's different levels to being highly intuitive. And I say this in every video: once you heal from one thing, it's going to be something else God needs you to heal from, and something else you got to heal, and something else you got to heal. Until we physically leave this body, we're going to always be going through a process of healing, because of the debris, because of society, because how we was raised in our families, because of everything we have endured in this lifetime as a human being. So when we come into these places of being a highly intuitive person, you got to understand that it's levels to that. So after you come to one level, you're going to have to go to another level and another level, because you're going to always be required more. And even in the Bible, it says, to whom much more is given, much more is required. So the more that you're giving, the more that's going to be required out of you. When I do these videos, when I say to y'all, it is so much more that's required out of me, but it's constantly going to new levels and being willing to go to those new levels, even if it get uncomfortable and even if it get challenging. It's still you choosing to say, I'm gonna still go ahead and face this challenge because I know in the end it's gonna bring me to the best version of myself. That is what we are coming to as we become more and more highly intuitive. So when you're dealing with somebody, or when you are the type of person that's highly intuitive, a lot of times you have to protect your energy. And you really have to be mindful of who you are connecting your energy with. You got to be mindful who you connecting your spirit with. You got to be mindful of who God is in you. You have to be mindful of your vibration, your frequency. You got to be mindful of who you allow to give yourself to. I don't care if that means your friendships. I don't care if that means family. I don't care if that means romantic. You have to really be in tune with who you are giving your aura and your energy and your God-given spirit to. Because a lot of times we step into things blinded, not even blinded, but we step into things without even stepping back to say, okay, let me pay attention to this person aura. I'm telling y'all, start paying attention to people's aura. Start paying more close attention to people energy, okay? Because when you can pay attention to people energy and they aura, you will know exactly who you're dealing with. You have to pay attention to people energy, they aura, they God-given spirit in them. Because if you're not, what's going to happen is you're going to connect your energy and your vibration and your God-given spirit, or you being a highly intuitive person, you're going to connect that with something that is not going to balance you out. And so what happens is when you connect with something that's not a reflection of who you know you want to become as the best version of yourself, you're going to either do one or two things, okay? If you're connecting with somebody that's not in the same energy field or not on the same vibration as you, or if you're connecting with somebody that's not highly intuitive like you, or they don't even have to be highly intuitive, but at least in a realm where they are intuitive and they embracing who they are, okay? What's going to happen is one or two things. You're going to end up compromising who you are, which as women, we do often, and men do it, where we will meet somebody and we know within our own intuition that this person is not going to be good for me. This person is not going to be right for me. This person is not going to fit into my life or my world and where I'm at in my journey spiritually that I'm going. I don't care if it means friendships or even family or even romantically. We know. But because we sometimes as men and women want to take the challenge on and feel like I can conquer that, I can make them be that for me, we step into a situation where the whole time God was saying, this is not for you. That person is not for you. That friendship is not for you. That connection is not for you. But we step in and thinking that we're strong enough to change that person, or we're strong enough to take that challenge on and conquer it. And that's where we mess up. Because now what you do, you throw your own self off the course spiritually of where God has taken you. And you have compromised who you are. You have compromised God's spirit in you. Because why? You're connecting and giving your energy to something or someone that will not be an even balance for who you are and where you're going. So when you are dealing with a highly intuitive person, we as people, we have to be mindful of that energy we connecting with other people. And another thing we have to be mindful as when you are dealing with somebody that's really highly intuitive, okay? We as those type of people, we always need our space. We always need quietness. We cannot deal with a lot of noise around us. It's not that we can't deal, but sometimes we have to have that place of quietness, that place of stillness, that sanctuary place we have where it's just us and God. It's just us and God, and it's nobody else to distract. We have to have that place of quietness for ourselves daily. Because what happens is, as being a highly, highly intuitive person, when we don't have that place of quietness, when we don't have that place where it's just us and God to get in tune, what happens is we become overwhelmed with our work. We become overwhelmed with our children. We become overwhelmed with our family and our romantic partners and our friendships, right? And the reason why we become so overwhelmed with that is because we have not took the time out to really have for ourselves, to really set that time aside to say, this is my time for me and God, nobody else. Nobody else can enter into this place but me and God, me and God, nobody else. And a lot of times that may look different for everybody, right? So when you are a highly, highly intuitive person, you really have to mindfully on purpose set time aside for you and God to just spend time with God, even if it means you sit in silence, even if it means you do meditation. Whatever your choice is, that's your choice. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying, even if it means you reading the word of God, even if it means you just praying, or even if it means you just listening to your praise and worship music, whatever it looks like for you, I'm saying that you have to always make sure you set that time for just you and God, nobody else. And when you set that time, whether it's 15 minutes every day, whether it's 20 minutes or 30 minutes every day, whether it's an hour or 2 hours, that's your time you need as a highly, highly intuitive person to balance your God-given spirit out, to balance your energy out, to balance your vibrations, to balance your frequency out. Because without that quiet time with you and God, you'll be all over the place. I promise. And I know this from experience. Anything I'm telling y'all, I know from experience, because when I wake up in the morning, even if I have to go to work, I will go to work at 6:45 a.m. I will grab my coffee and I will literally move away from every single person. I will go and I will just go duck off somewhere where I'm totally by myself. Even if it means I got to hide out in the bathroom for a minute, I will hide out for a couple of minutes and I will allow that time to just be with me and God. I won't allow anybody to get in my space. I won't allow anybody to just pull on me or hold conversations. I will strictly separate myself from everybody to get my alone time with God, because that's vital for me to keep me balanced out. It's vital that I stay in tune with God's spirit, and what I'm hearing is vital, because if I don't, I could miss something that was detrimental to the next person or detrimental to me or my children. And that's why it's vital that, as being a highly, highly intuitive person, you get your alone time every single day. Whether it's 5, 10, 15 minutes, you make yourself a priority to get your alone time every single day. Another thing that is vital and it's important for people that's highly, highly intuitive to do is when you can come in a room. So if you're a person that's highly, highly intuitive and you ever walked in a room and instantly you just, even before you even hit the room, you can feel the energy, you can feel everything around you, right? That's part of being highly, highly intuitive person, right? But what happens is, when you are operating in your gifts of being a highly, highly intuitive person, you can walk in the atmosphere of something that's so chaotic and you can bring peace to it. You can walk in the midst of a situation on your job that's chaotic, or the residents chaotic, or you can walk into a situation with your family and it's chaotic with them, or your friends and it's chaotic. And the minute you get there, the minute your presence is known, the minute your aura is walked into that room, it changes the whole atmosphere. And it's like it calms everything down. It's like a sense of calmness, a sense of peace comes over everybody. And what was chaotic before you got there is now come to a state of peace. That's what it means to tap into being a highly, highly intuitive person. That's what it means to tap into who you are in God. God will give you the power to walk in a room and bring peace. God will give you the strength to walk in a situation that's chaotic and still give you peace in that chaotic situation and not let it touch you or affect you in any way, shape, or form. Everything around you can be chaotic. Even if you look at what's happening now in the world, everything around us, I swear, y'all, everything around us is chaotic, freaking chaotic. But God will put you right in the midst of that chaos and say, hey, but watch how I allow you to have peace. Watch how I position you to walk in the midst of all of that chaos. And you have such a calmness, such a stillness to yourself, such a peace, such a loving energy and aura about yourself that everything around you that's chaotic can't even touch you. It doesn't even affect who you are and what you carry. That's what it means to be a highly, highly intuitive person operating in who God is in you. Another thing when it comes to being this type of person is you have to have a routine you do every day. I try to tell people, have a routine you do every day that really actually raise your energy, and it raises your vibration, and it raises your frequency, and it brings you, and it reconnects you and realign you back with God's spirit in that day. Have a routine that you do for you, and don't let anybody interrupt that routine. Even if it means you got to turn off the phone, even if it means you got to say no to somebody, you have to have a set routine for that. So when it comes to being a highly intuitive person, we have to always be mindful of what we do, how we do it, and when we do it. When I say when you are this type of person, it's not always easy because it's so many challenging days where it lies ahead of you, or it's challenging moments that come out of nowhere. And then you have to determine, how do I handle it? Even when you're this type of person, you have to, and it's times where you're going to operate out of your emotions, but the point of God allowing you to see how you're operating out of your emotions in that moment is to get a grip on it. I'm trying to show you that if you're operating out of your emotions of anger or fear, I'm doing this because I want you to see that I need you to get a grip on this right now. I need you to trust me, God. I need you to trust who I am in you, that everything is going to be okay. So whether you're dating a highly intuitive person, or whether you have friends like that, or whether family members, understand that we always have to do things intentionally on purpose to stay in alignment with God's spirit. We always have to do things intentionally on purpose to connect back with God's spirit to our spirit. We always have to connect with our own energy. You have to learn how to connect with your own energy. Get back in touch with your own self. Spend time with your own self. Because I'm telling you, that's where, when you can learn how to spend time with your own self, and you learn how to connect back with your own energy and God's spirit energy, I promise you, you're going to be able to operate out of your intuition. You're going to be able to operate out of God, out of God's spirit more than what's around you. And that's what it means when it comes to being a highly intuitive person. It requires a lot. It requires solitude. It requires quietness. It requires doing the things that you know that's going to be effective to help you along the way. It requires not connecting your spirit and your energy with things that's not going to be effective in your life. It requires you choosing to cut ties with friends and romantic lovers and people that's only keeping you at a stagnated place, a stagnated energy. It requires you being willing to let go of what God tell you to let go and who God tell you to let go and cut ties. It requires you being able to step into that place of knowing that if God moved it out of my life, it was not an accident. It was the season, the time was up for me in that person or me in that situation. That's what it requires. It requires that sometimes. It requires trusting God, even in how chaotic it is now. It requires trusting God. And I'll end the video with this, and I said in my other video, out of the heart flows the issues of life. So out of our heart, it's flowing issues of life, what's going on, even in our own personal lives, like everything that's around us now. But even in it, God is saying, lean not to your own understanding, but if you acknowledge me, if you get in tune with who I am in you, if you get in tune with my spirit, if you get in tune within your own energy, within your own self, if you get in tune with your own frequency, I promise you, God is saying, I will lead you and show you the way. I will show you the moments and the things that you need to do. But lean not to your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge God, and God will direct your path. God will position you. God will lead you in the way that you need to go. And this is what it means when it comes to being a highly, highly intuitive person. So I love you guys. You be blessed. You are all such beautiful souls, and I was happy to get back on here to do these 2 videos today. And I just say I love you guys, and just understand, being a highly, highly intuitive person, it's challenging sometimes. It really is. But I wouldn't trade it in for the world. I just would not trade it in. And yes, some people can look at it as a curse, or you can look at it as a blessing. And I said in a couple of my videos that you have to always see things with a new set of eyes, okay? So when you can look at circumstances and situations and even what's going on around us, and when you can see things with a new set of eyes, when you can see those things from a new perspective, I promise you, being a highly, highly intuitive person, I promise you, you'll start to see that as a blessing. You'll start to see that with a new set of eyes. You'll start to celebrate yourself more and who you are and why you have these type of things in you internally and how you carry it. You'll begin to celebrate others when you see that they are tapping into who they are and being so highly intuitive. You'll begin to celebrate them. And even when it gets challenging for them, you'll be able to tell them about your story and say, but you know what? In the end, it's going to be worth it. Because all it's going to do is bring you to the best version of yourself. So if you don't remember anything else out this video, remember this. That in being a highly, highly intuitive person, and just being a person, period, a human being, understand that everything that we are going through in this lifetime is just God wanting to bring us into a place where we can be the best version for God. Not for a man, not for our family, not for ourselves, but to be the best version we can be for God. Because at the end of the day, we're here, but these bodies are only temporary. And when God is ready to bring us back home, we all go in one way or another. So I encourage everybody, before I end this video, understand that you may be having challenging moments, you may be going through struggles, you may be hurting in ways that people can't even see or even comprehend to understand. But understand that when nobody else is there, God is there. Understand that you are never alone, because God is our comforter. God is our all. God is the all-seeing God. God is the all-knowing God. He is the God that placed us here, and He is the God that will continue to give us comfort even in our times of hurting, even in everything that's going on and people are hurting. God is still a comfort. And I'm telling y'all that even in the midst of all of this chaos, God is speaking. I promise y'all, even in the midst of all of this chaos, God is speaking. And if you just take the time to get in tune with God's Spirit, you'll see what He's speaking to you. You'll understand what He's saying and why He's saying it. You'll understand why He's prompting you to do certain things. You'll understand it. But I promise y'all that in the midst of all chaos, God has not left us. But God is stronger than ever in the midst of this. And I promise you, God will win. And God is already winning in this. So in the midst of chaos, God is speaking. You just got to listen. You just got to get more in tune. And you got to be willing to sacrifice that time to get in tune, to listen and really hear. And I promise you, you will. Okay. I love you guys. You guys be blessed. It's Wednesday. So you guys be blessed. You guys enjoy y'all Wednesday. You guys have a peaceful Wednesday. And just enjoy this day, whatever it consists of you. And I love y'all. Be blessed.